Thank you, Puckett. And yes, things are looking good indeed for 1, 2, 3. Things are looking good for 1, 2, 3. I'm back. But Bren, take a look at this. eUnited is one team that definitely can bring this back, especially if you look at what they've done historically.
Yeah.
We just haven't seen it much yet in Season 1 here so far.
I mean, I think if there was a team to do it, it would be eUnited. They can bring this one back now. Coming into this next map, it will be Volskaya that we're heading into. And as the analyst desk mentioned, you know, they have very capable Sombra plays when it comes to Volskaya as a map, but even Hanamura as well, even if they did choose to go onto it. Assault, this is where they need to turn it around. This is where they really need to prove that they are this tier 1 team that deserves to be in the playoff spot, because it is almost in the do or die territory. They need to win this map.
They're not completely done if they don't win here, but their road would be tough indeed. They would effectively have to run the table, and that's not an easy task. But for United, they did play the first 2 maps very close. So if you take a look here going into Volskaya and eventually map number 4, it's not impossible to conceive that United could bring this back and force a tiebreaker. But it will depend on their performance right now here, Bren, as we enter into Volskaya.
This is it, isn't it? Exactly the map that eUnited believe that they need to be taking them to if they want any chance of trying to win this one out. We'll soon see as the countdown does begin. But compositions-wise, I mean, I'd be surprised if we didn't see any Sombra play, because both these teams are reasonably comfortable with it. 1, 2, 3, a little bit less so. eUnited are definitely massive fans of running the Sombra on Assault. It's one of their strongest suits when it comes to playing these Assault game modes. So it could be the sort of the nudge they need in the right direction to try and win this one out. And as you can see already, Cruz, he's playing the Sombra. He's got it locked in and ready on the defense. Let's see what they can do with it.
Well, the other thing, too, for United is that they are one of the most veteran teams in the scene. Certainly one of the longest-lasting team cores in all of Overwatch. Might even be the longest at this point, especially with the recent breakup, or not breakup, but change of the former NIP roster now, Gigantes. So, in any case, they know their way around an Assault map, and we'll see if that coordination will serve them well here, where they really do need to find a map victory now in Volskaya.
Absolutely, and with this countdown, Cruz getting prepped up. He's going to be hacking up that mega health pack. And actually, we see a lot of teams, their approach to this when they know the enemy team is going to be running the Sombra. We see a variety of strategies. Now, 1, 2, 3, they can employ a different strategy where they try and take fully the right-hand side. So you can see they might just try and lock down that mega health pack, which you can see that's exactly what they're doing. The big rotation, all of them moving in, and they're going to try and take control of that area and deny it away from essentially Cruz and from the side of eUnited to try and basically abuse it and build up those EMPs.
1, 2, 3, they very quickly get to the high ground right now. They establish their positioning. They're not poked down at all, so they're in good health. And Snillo right now is getting to work, applying the pressure to the backline right now, giving 1, 2, 3 a little bit of breathing room. And now 1, 2, 3, it's a multi-threat approach. They're getting onto the point, and eUnited now must act.
I mean, all they've done is just play the point. Fitzy, he gets booped up from Morte. A 1-for-1 trade in the end as it stands. Snillo going to be trying to use his recall. 15 HP in a dream. He's going to get peeled for, but are the heals there? He's very, very weak. He needs to be trying to basically play around this for the rest of his team. Oh! He's so close to being killed. Oh, Morte finds it, but eUnited, are they coming out on top for this? 1, 2, 3, they commit the sound barrier.
Well, in the end, Snillo could not face the music here, and eUnited, they are trying to fight back, but Cruz ends up falling here, and he fell right after the EMP, so not quite the ideal situation for United. But you take a look, the EMP did cause 1, 2, 3 to lose the remaining attackers, and they will have to go for a reset, so it hasn't really been clean, but it has been effective here so far. eUnited holding on with only a tick given.
One thing we didn't even talk about at all is Boombox on this Soldier 76. Like, eUnited are going for this solo support sort of role, running Cruz in a more supportive, Sombra sort of fashion, I guess, to sort of emphasize the lack of heals, but Boombox is there as well, and Boombox is a very capable aimer. You know, the guy was a DPS main before he started playing Ana and Zen, and before he started playing in those flex supports role. The guy can aim, and this could be what eUnited needed to really try and combat this, but with Cruz going down, Horsebomb committed as well. Snillo, how does he get these kills? I don't even know, man, but regardless of that, 3 kills down, eUnited should be losing this point.
And that is what Snillo's been giving 1, 2, 3 over and over again over the course of Contenders Season 1, where 1, 2, 3, They were jockeying for position, working to get around the Sombra, and what does Snillo do? Snillo finds Cruz, takes him down in a clip, and then lays in the pulse bomb right after to really make it an easy take for 1-2-3. That also, look at this, Bren, it lets them preserve their ultimate economy. Now they have a really good opportunity as they flow into point B.
Cruz isn't even close to his EMP as well. And look at this, the initiation moves in. They want to use the nano visor on the side of 1-2-3 to try and counteract this. Monte forced to pop off his own sound barrier, but the kills are flowing in regardless of that. Fincy moves in, the pulse bombs into the back. It's going to be these trades quite equal as it stands as Boombox answers back with an ultimate of his own. But again, a very close matchup indeed between these two teams. Cruz is so weak, he's trying to be peeled for Fincy, ends up falling regardless.
Well, the problem here for 1-2-3 is that they just lost way too many people early on. Boombox is able to deal critical damage to their back line. And even though 1-2-3 is still fighting here, essentially the fight has been over for quite a long time here, Bren. This is where 1-2-3, they just need to back out and regroup. But now they do face some trouble in going against the EMP metagame, which eUnited has charged up.
They used a lot of ults in that first push as well. They wanted to try and take the momentum straight to them. Hafikul just only has died, so he needs to regroup with the rest of his team, buying, again, some crucial seconds here for eUnited. Cruz, as you mentioned, he's got the EMP built up. He's got that Mega Health Pack hacked as well. Now, the game plan, normally some teams, what they like to do is, you see in Korea, especially in the Apex, you see them take control of that Mega Health Pack room away from them and try and prevent it from being used. But right now, ZP, they're moving in and they want to be going for these kills.
They're going straight in right now. They think Cruz is a little bit out of position and he might just be, but now he drops in, drops the EMP, and there's the bag. Unfixed over the top of the self-destruct, makes Snillo want to go take a bath.
Yeah, he's gone. He realizes, you know, the jig is up. He's got to give this one up, and they do reset it. 4 minutes on the clock, not even a single tick just yet. eUnited still in control, but ultimate-wise, it is going to be 1-2-3 now with the ult advantage. But is this going to be enough? You know, traditionally, these assault game modes, it's something you need a clean sweep of kills to really take these control points out. I don't really think that, you know, having just Denny with the sound barrier, leading it in, as you can see, he's already just used it. Is this going to be enough, CP?
Well, the sound barrier comes in right now. 1-2-3 is just trying to get in quickly before the EMP is back out. That's why they rush back in. It's 5-on-5 right now, but they're getting poked down enough. eUnited does not care about the sound barrier, punishes 1-2-3 for going in as quickly as they did, and the opportunity 1-2-3 thought they had wasn't quite there. And the reason why they did that, Bren, take a look at Cruz. He will have EMP up for the next fight.
I mean, even that was, in my mind, I'm trying to figure out why would you commit the sound barrier to that fight, because you didn't trade it for any ultimates. You didn't get any capture time at all. That went disastrously for 1-2-3 because eUnited now, once again, are with the ultimate advantage when it comes to the support ults because they're going to have the sound barrier. Boombox has still got this tactical visor. Cruz has the EMP, you know. eUnited, they're sorted for this next team fight.
Cruz right now, going around the flank, has a translocator up in 5 seconds, being a pest. Now he's going to blink back, and he's going to heal up and then just look to lob in over the top, drop the EMP, and ruin 1-2-3's day. 1-2-3 does have a lot of resources here, but it doesn't matter if you get crushed by an EMP. But Snillo got booped off early, Bren.
And losing that initial player means it is almost curtains. You have to give up on this fight. And again, crucial seconds being wasted away. Only 2.5 minutes now for 1-2-3 to try and retake this one. eUnited have perfectly circumvented using their ults unnecessarily. They've turned it around from the previous games. The ult usage has been on point, not really wasting it at all. And they've almost built up all 6 ultimates. But here we have it, ZP. They're moving in. The point will start to become contested.
Cruz drops the EMP, and it's a big one, hitting almost everyone on the 1-2-3 side. And even with Hafikul dropping the self-destruct over the top, it frankly does not matter. The damage was done, and eUnited gets to just casually hold on.
Now, you might look at that fight and think, again, it was pretty poor for 1-2-3, but actually it was one ult traded. Only the self-destruct on the side of 1-2-3 traded for a Primal Rage, a Tactical Visor, and the EMP from Cruz. Now, Cruz is already up to 70%, so realistically, that doesn't matter too much. But coming into this next fight, that's very important. eUnited, they need to be a little bit more careful because 1-2-3, look at this, 5 ults already. They can come in with the Nano Visor, they can come in with absolutely everything.
This is 1-2-3's window right now, but it closes immediately, unfixed. Wow. Shuts down Finzy, went in with the tac visor. You might see everything, Bren, but you did not see that gigantic mech exploding in his face.
And it's getting, again, into the danger zone here. You've got a minute on the clock here, ZP, to try and make something happen. If you're 1-2-3 right now, what do you want to see them doing?
1-2-3 right now, what I'd like to see them doing is they need to do something to bait out the EMP from Cruz or somehow pick off Cruz early on. Not really easy to do in any case. Cruz is the one holding the power right now. 1, 2, 3, they're gonna roll in. Let's see what Cruz can do.
And they immediately peel onto the back line. So using the nano boost there onto the Winston, Sherrick just trying to basically hold them off as it stands for Tonic, putting in a lot of mitigation, brings down Morte. Fincy with the follow-up does find Cruz. That's gonna be no EMP for this next fight. Are they finding the kills? Yes, they are. Already, have they got a tick? Not quite yet, still being contested, but the kills are flowing in. It's an entire kill feed of red right now.
They got the win condition they're looking for. They got Cruz before the EMP went off. eUnited wasn't able to find a good EMP. They're going up right now. 90%, 99, 100. Woo! eUnited not able to reestablish on the point. And 1, 2, 3 with 23 seconds left on the clock. Able to complete Volskaya. And now they put eUnited on notice that eUnited must now come back and have a successful attack of their own.
A dangerous game being played by eUnited there. Cruz falling at the end there was really the nail in the coffin, because if they had that EMP, that entire fight by 1, 2, 3 would have been, you know, so much more successful for the side of eUnited. Now, moving into this next fight, it is going to be, again, the tables are flipped. We see 1, 2, 3 on the defense now, Volskaya. And they did manage to cap both checkpoints with a little bit of time remaining. That's important now, because it means that if eUnited do get some time, there's still a chance that 1, 2, 3 can bring it back. It won't go straight to the draw that they're playing for.
Well, 1, 2, 3 is assured of one of two things right now, which is that they're either assured of a victory if eUnited isn't able to finish things out, or they're at least assured of getting another attack. So no matter what here for eUnited, their victory condition will lie in finishing this out and getting to extra rounds. So we'll see just what this 1, 2, 3 defense has in store. But Bren, take a look at this defense. This is 1, 2, 3. They don't play Sombra that often, but they will play it here as they put Bach onto that Sombra.
Yeah, I like this sort of switch up in terms of player moves. They're sticking Denia still on the Lucio. This makes sense to me, mainly because you're still going to have that defensive support ult. You're not going to be switching off him, and they're probably going to be keeping Bach even when they're pushed back to the second point eventually, which is most likely going to happen, as eUnited are still a decent team. And right now, you see it's going to be Hafikul on that Genji, Fincy on the Diva of all things. That's an interesting switch, because you know, just put him now onto that flex role. They're still running this sort of 2-2-2 composition, but eUnited going to be going with, again, a traditional composition that they know and love, running a boombox on the Ana, surprisingly enough. Now, I've given some thought into this. The reason I think that teams like to run this Ana on this first attack of Volskaya is mainly to counteract the healing. The Bio Grenade is fantastic at denying off the Sombra, because you know you can't pick up those large health packs, you can't build up the EMP as a result.
I would raise another point there too, where if you take this point decisively, you have the nano boost for point B.
Yeah.
eUnited not really waiting a whole lot here. They're going straight up the gut, challenging 1, 2, 3, power for power, and they go for the DMech, and they get it. Finzy knocked out immediately. eUnited looking strong.
Okay, Cruz answers back again with another kill. As you mentioned, eUnited, they're looking strong. They picked up 3 of these kills. All they do now is just finish up the remaining players, which they are doing with ease, it seems like. And this will be the first checkpoint, gone their way in a very convincing fashion. Now, Bucky dying quite late there isn't actually the worst scenario in the world, because he does have the EMP to come in here. But eUnited, if they completely run with this momentum right now as EP, they've got the nano boost available to them. They can pop that off to Sherrick. They could look to get some more sort of tempo kills off the back of it.
They very well could, and they do have a win condition coming up here, which is a nano blade. Now, if you get EMP'd in the middle of being a nano boosted Genji, it's bad. If the EMP comes out, they bait it out, and then Cruz can clean up, that would spell disaster right now for 1, 2, 3. So eUnited working with advantage. The sleep, Eden, what protection coming in from Finzy. That was big for 1, 2, 3 to stay alive here.
Fantastic stuff indeed, and now moving in, Cruz has the nano blade. Is he going to be making anything happen with it? He does pick up and get the demake from Fincy, but is it going to be enough here? eUnited are trying to answer back. They pick up a couple of kills off the back of this one. Denia trying his hardest, but will get brought down now, already 50% and counting. We see the Primal Rage. Tonic moving into the back lines. He's trying to make the magic happen here, ZP.
Right now, they need magic, and they need it quick. 1, 2, 3 against the wall. Respawns are coming back in. Still has the pulse bomb charged up, but eUnited, they double down. The sound barrier is in. This makes them far more durable against 1, 2, 3. And even though they're able to DMAC unfixed, however, that's good. They got down more to now. The flow of battle is going perhaps the other way. eUnited can't stand the point quite as much as they wanted to.
Still could be winnable for eUnited, but at the end of the day, I mean, Cruz picking up that kill onto Bok, that's actually huge. No more EMP for this fight, but regardless, they need to get the follow-up kills. If they manage to pick up this kill onto Tonic, it could be a different scenario still. The point is still getting contested, but with these follow-up kills, Hafikul and Denny are making sure that the push is dead in the water, and the eUnited forced to reset.
So what we saw there was a two-part comeback. Part Snillo, part Finzi. They needed to both get the DMAC and kill Lucio to give themselves breathing room and let that happen. And the sad thing here for United is that they were really close to getting the second tick, but they leave with only one. That's big for 1-2-3 that now in terms of ultimate economy, they have the EMP back up. United, in a sense, has to start from scratch here.
Indeed. You see Borky's just teasing with him as it stands, and Hafi's actually fallen. That's an entry frag right now for eUnited. They could definitely play up the back of this one. Cruz, utilizing the Dragon Blade, will force out the sound barrier from the side of 1-2-3. Doesn't get any kills, but trading that 1-for-1. Not the worst case in the world, but Snillo, he wants to answer it back. He's getting the kills, but right now, an even exchange.
This is good for United, though. They've gotten the kills they need so far. Sharik dominating space. Cruz working the outskirts, and Hafa going to fall here again. This is big for United. They've already picked up their second tick. They are well on their way. Sharik cannot be stopped. eUnited now just needing a little bit more here, and they're gonna get it. 5 minutes and 12 seconds remaining. That is a massive time advantage.
It's an absolute blitzkrieg of a push. I mean, 5 minutes on the clock here against 1-2-3's 23 seconds. I mean, look at this difference in time right now. eUnited have got so much time to work with. 1-2-3 only a minute on the clock. And once again, we're going to see them try and pull it out. But this is definitely now, without a shadow of doubt, eUnited's map to win. And they have definitely bought a lifeline in this series.
Do you hear that right now, Bren? It's a sound of unease coming from our analyst desk. The storm is brewing. Is this the time that eUnited makes their triumphant comeback? Is this where they show us why they were the champions of Season 0? Well, Volsky right now is looking better for them than any map has previously.
Look at this. It is going to be the attack for 1-2-3, so they're only going to have a minute to make this happen, to push us as far as they possibly can. Realistically, if they don't get this first initial push, it could be curtains for them, you know? They're going to be having to go for an absolute miracle full hold, presumably, if that ends up happening, but maybe I'm thinking too far ahead, you know? The game is not over just yet for any side as it stands. United, they still have a chance to come back into this, but you are right. I mean, to give the analyst desk some credit, ZP, you know, they did say it was going to be a very close game. They said, you know, Assault was going to be their game mode to win.
You can view your world in shades of gray. I just want to view it in black and white. Right or wrong? Why do we have nuanced discussions when we can just be very polarized? But 1-2-3 right now looking for their way in. It would be big for them if they got this first point, Bren, because if they did, there's no guarantee that United would get a tick onto last. United, though, would be a very big boon for them if they were able to hold this off, because holding first for 5 minutes would be nearly impossible.
Absolutely, and they're going to be playing a similar strategy as before, which we saw in the previous round. They just played the tanks onto the point. They played the point to a degree and try and force the peel onto the back lines. But look at this, Puckett this time, get a bit aggressive in front of them. Still, point not quite being played, and Sharik, he's fallen! They were basing out the aggression, they bring down that initial player, and that is big ZP.
That's really good right now for 1-2-3, but with Bach going down, United might be able to hold this out. The trade-out advantage isn't quite here for the offense as it normally would be. Boombox able to shake the pressure as Morta taking matters into his own hands, dropping the beat right over 1-2-3. But with Tonic demecking and killing unfixed, he's bought 1-2-3 time to get back in onto this point.
What's name is going on here? Boombox is still alive and kicking. He's putting in the work. The overtime is ticking down, and nobody is on the point here, ZP, at all. Not even a single tick. And it's going to mean that 1-2-3, if they want any chance in this game, they've got a full hold eUnited on this first checkpoint. I gotta say, you know, if you're an eUnited fan, you gotta be pleased with this performance because they have turned it around. They've given themselves a shot in the dark, a light down the tunnel, and they're looking good as a result. I mean, all eUnited need is 33% on the board.
Meanwhile, if you're a 1-2-3 fan, you are hoping for what is probably an under a 1% chance to actually hold here on first point Volskaya. Not impossible, but would certainly be up there with some of the greater holds in Overwatch history because you think about it here, it's not only just one tick. United actually has an extra minute and 12 over what you normally get to attack point A to begin with. So United, if they just abuse this advantage, charge up ultimates and really just play with the fact that they can throw fights away, the drain ultimates, and then come in with an advantage, they really should be able to get this tick. It would be a disaster for United if they didn't.
United would have to throw incredibly hard to lose this map. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart because it is realistically, they can, as soon as they get a pick, this first checkpoint heavily favors the attackers in terms of their advantage.
Do you want to make a suit jacket bet on it,
Suit
where you
jacket
will
bet.
eat your suit jacket if they don't hold? We've done this before.
I'll eat my suit jacket if 1, 2, 3 manage to full hold them here on this first checkpoint. I will eat my suit jacket. 5 minutes to work with eUnited. You know, I believe in them 100%. If they don't do this, I'll be shocked.
All right. Well, the suit jacket is on the line, and eUnited's offense is underway. Looking for their way in. They were very much brute force the last time, and seems to be the same this time, where they're not really weighing too much, and they're just pinning 1, 2, 3 into a corner.
Right now, 1, 2, 3's positioning. I'm not too keen on this because they're just pressured into the corners. But Boombox, he does fall. The counter aggression comes out, and Mix will get demeched for the time being. This will mean that eUnited are forced to potentially reset this one out.
And for 1, 2, 3, the only thing that comes out here is that they will lose Finzi, but they'll win the rest of the fight rather cleanly. I think United lost this in such a way that they're not really going to be able to get back before that member of 1, 2, 3 is back in play. So it's a good defense here for 1, 2, 3, but is the first of many that they'll have to do, as 4 minutes and 18 seconds left on the clock.
We're going to have to get to about the 2-minute mark before I start sweating and worrying for my suit jacket safety, to be honest, because it's, again, even though it was a good first defense, still, it is almost in the realms of impossibility. But again, eUnited, they lead it into EMP by 1, 2, 3. Will try and make this happen. Pulse bombs being traded out, kills all over the place, and it's eUnited coming out on top right now.
Very good stuff from United. 1, 2, 3 tried the match aggression with aggression, but eUnited just a little bit better. The mechanical play, catching 1, 2, 3 off guard, and now 1, 2, 3 has to pull themselves back from the brink. Half-a-cool has the blade charged up, but Cruz's blade came out first and slices down Half-a-cool in midair. That's what you like to see.
Top 10 anime battles right there, ladies and gentlemen, and my suit jacket is firmly safe, and I am going to be a happy chappy indeed. eUnited claim map number 3. Fantastic performance all around by eUnited, really showing why their Sombra play is actually something to be feared on these assault game modes.
And this is where United might be on the verge of catching their second win, because you stop and think about map 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Both of those were very winnable for United. They were really on a one-fight margin, certainly for control, and they didn't really have that far to go on Eichenwald if they were able to knock down that door. So even though 1, 2, 3 only needs one more map to win the series, I do think United is applying quite a bit of pressure to them, both in-game and also mentally.
I mean, right now, I think eUnited are going to be happy with that win because they needed a map, essentially, at least to try and get them back on track. And now, at least, they do have a glimmer of hope in, you know, because if they did end up losing this series right now, if they lose this next map, the road to playoffs is going to be so difficult for them. It's going to be very hard. And if they do actually manage to take this from 1, 2, 3, the potential is there. eUnited have been showing signs of life. It could be a different story. The playoffs could be looking, you know, within sight.
Also, we've been focusing very heavily on eUnited, but you think about 1, 2, 3, where 1, 2, 3 has had somewhat of an easier schedule here so far.
That's true.
If 1, 2, 3 doesn't beat eUnited here, it's not like the path gets any easier because they're going to be going up against teams like Giganti. They're going to be going up against teams like Misfits. Their schedule is packed with killers from EU from here on out. So if 1, 2, 3 wants to keep their playoff hopes in a good state and give themselves some room for error, this next map is actually very vital for them as well.
In a way, this was the true test for both these teams because eUnited, they need this map win, they need this series win to try and prove themselves that they're capable of making it to playoffs. But 1, 2, 3 have also need to be proven themselves against superior teams. You know, eUnited are the first stepping stone to their road to playoffs. Like you mentioned, they got harder teams coming up against them, but it will be Gibraltar as the map pick here. And this is 1, 2, 3's map pick. ZP, give me your thoughts, give me the breakdown, give me the knowledge.
United really likes this map as well. I mean, they don't quite like it as much as, say, Nambani, but this is also one of their home grounds where they would willingly pick this. In fact, this might have been their choice if they had lost Volskaya.
I was going to mention, they like this map so much that at TakeOver 2, they picked it against Rogue. Of all teams, why would you ever do that? I mean, they lost pretty handedly, don't get me wrong, but that shows how confident eUnited are on Gibraltar. This could be an absolute slobber knocker of a map, and this could potentially lead into a tiebreaker.
eUnited is in a good spot here. They've gotten to go to a map that they feel very comfortable on when it wasn't their pick. They have momentum coming out of the last map where, frankly, it wasn't really that close. They were able to outplay 1, 2, 3 on multiple levels. And also at this point, given the fact that eUnited started out things mechanically strong, they've also had more time to learn and adapt to 1, 2, 3 as it's gone on. And that's something that can favor an experienced team in situations like this. So 1, 2, 3, as we were alluding to, this is make or break for them right now, where do they have what it takes to be a champion and put down one of the best teams in the game? We're going to find out.
I mean, yeah, if they do manage to do it, I mean, how crazy is this storyline in itself? This is a repeat of almost like the Contenders Season 0 EU Finals, where eUnited handedly beat it 1-2-3 when, you know, arguably they had a better sort of tracer player with mistakes on their roster. They've made the switches now, and Snillo has proven himself to be much more capable, if not on par with mistakes, and Fincy and Hafikul as well, you know, stepping up tremendously for the team in their time of need. But right now, eUnited, do or die. I feel like I've said that phrase far too much this series, but it's so suitable because eUnited, they need to make something happen. They need this map series right now to prove themselves that they're capable of playoffs.
All right, eUnited right now on the attack, moving out with a standard 2-2-2. 1-2-3, they're poking a little bit, but Bren, they're going to hold their defense quite a bit further back. But look at this, Snillo under hot pursuit right now. Volatile and Shriek thought they had an opportunity. Snillo just barely able to get out. But as the payload goes through car wash, the real battle is about to begin.
Pressure was going to be applied there, but again, it is, as you mentioned, the real battle now waiting to be kicked off. Cruz going to be starting to play the high ground. He's going to get pressured down very low, but his team is there to peel for him in the end. The battle being taken up into the high ground here. Hafikul so close to being demeched. If they got that, that could have been absolutely critical, but he will manage to back off with his team and get healed up.
He got the health pack, got healed up by Lucio, but still under pressure as Boombox finds Finzy. They were worried about getting Hafikul back up, but while that is going on, eUnited has given themselves a nice advantage as they go into point A here, and it doesn't seem to be getting any better from 1-2-3, and this is dangerous, Bren. This is where momentum can really take hold. All right,
now we see them. The Transcendence is going to be used, and the Dragon Blade. Cruz wants to initiate in off the back of this one, lurking for the kills. He will find one. Can he follow it up with any more? Still Boombox wanted to use now. Denia with the solo Sambar. I believe he connected onto Snillo as well, but a bit of a waste there, in my opinion, as he didn't really find the kills he was potentially looking for.
Not quite yet as Cruz. He's the cleanup that eUnited desires. Gets into the back line, and this point is almost there for eUnited, but Tonic bring lost space in the back line. Oh, crunched against the walls, Cruz. So eUnited, though, was looking good for a while. 1-2-3 was able to show some good stabilization there. The question is, can they do it here for one more fight?
Can they do it indeed? That's going to be the question, because Denia using that sound barrier there, I was questioning that tempo sound barrier, but it actually worked out in their favor. They managed to hold it here at his first checkpoint. Now, Valu has the pulse bomb in hand, and eUnited have a whole slew of ultimates to use off the back of this one. Morte with his own sound barrier, and I'm going to be curious as to how they actually use this to initiate in.
Volatile right now creeping around to the backside. Secret Agent Valu looking for the stick and gets Finzy, not from the bomb, but just from the support from Boombox. That's big. eUnited, they sense blood in the water. They drop the barrier and they go right in. Self-destruct to the backline, almost gets Boombox, but not quite.
Cruz moved into the back as well with his own Dragon Blade, but didn't quite get what he was realistically looking for. Only equal trades across the board. eUnited, they've committed a lot of ultimates to this fight right now. And 1-2-3 still holding on. Now Fincy wants to move in. The tactical visor will put in the damage and do the deed as Shariq will end up falling. And eUnited, they're forced to reset. They're forced to back off. ZP, 1 minute on the clock here for these teams. Unfix gets de-suited. Eventually will get brought down as well in the tail end of this. A disastrous first point here by eUnited.
What we saw there from 1-2-3 is that they backed off, and then after backing off, they threw Tonic right back in.
Yeah, well, looking at this, they are struggling because now Bok, he has the Transcendence. Denia, he's got the sound barrier. Tonic with the Primal Rage, and Unfixed only one ability is self-destructing the Dream. Cruz could potentially make some magic happen with the Dragon Blade, but really now ZP, it's time to go in.
The self-destruct flying right in from Unfixed, doesn't get what he's looking for, and Snillo actually stops Unfixed from getting back into his mech. That was a very poor self-destruct from Unfixed, and it's backfired horribly for eUnited. They lost their Diva without any real recompense for it, and now they're down to their final 17 seconds.
You know, I gotta say, 15 seconds now. eUnited, if they manage to do this, I will be shocked. They've got a Transcendence to work with. They don't exactly have, you know, just an empty caliber here of guns to really work with. They've got the tools in their arsenal, but when Hafikul's picking up the kills onto Shariq and Cruz is forced to just go in aggressively like this, they're using their ults so aggressively. Is it realistically going to be enough? The overtime ticking down. The self-destruct will force them off the point for the time being, ZP. And I mean, right now, this fight is looking disastrous.
This is do or die right now for eUnited. They must bring this one back, or their road to holding on to Gibraltar will be nearly an impossible task as eUnited right now. Baltalia to the backline, pulse bomb in, doesn't connect, but is able to take down Tonic. One of the few remaining, and this is where we have another one of our battles here, Bren. eUnited must stay on the point.
They must indeed. They must really keep this overtime ticking over. But with these kills just flowing in once again, Fincy locks it out, the tactical visor to finish the fight. Only 72.74 meters. That's all eUnited manages to get on that first checkpoint. That is disastrous. Normally teams, when you see them full health like that, that was an absolute battering.
And what really powered that is that 1-2-3 had very good disengages when eUnited was coming in strong. But what made them actually be able to hold on the payload is that we saw Tonic buying just the right amount of delay where he would gum up eUnited for just long enough, but then get out and live. It was a masterclass in delay coming out from Tonic, and that has really been a big factor in 1-2-3 doing well, both here on Gibraltar and certainly on maps like Eichenwald.
Tonic's been one of the biggest sort of players to watch, so to speak, for 1-2-3 because he's been constantly coming out with a very solid performance with his Winston. You know, never really dying when his team needs him alive. You know, he's always going to be there with the peel as well. But a lot of the blame you've got to put onto eUnited's shoulders with their misuse of ultimates. We saw them moving in with the unfix with the self-destruct in the server room. They tried to take the superior fight there. Didn't work out. 1-2-3, they were prepared for it. They just peeled away from it. And they just made eUnited waste these ultimates over and over again as they tried to push it up.
And the thing that is interesting here when you think about how eUnited has to defend this is that 1-2-3's defense was more of a crime of opportunity, right? They weren't doing anything too out of the norm. It just worked out that they had that good of a defense. eUnited now must have that good of a defense in turn, which means that eUnited is going to feel more pressure to be highly aggressive here, which is by nature a high-risk, high-reward strategy.
Yeah.
It's not impossible to defend this here, but man, it's going to be very difficult for eUnited and a map that they really do need to win.
This is going to be unbelievably difficult for them right now. Definitely not impossible, but incredibly difficult. We see Happy-Cool, he switches to the Hanzo just to get a bit of vision, get a bit of insight for them. They realize they are just holding up there, but the cart will slowly begin to move, and eUnited, they've got a hell of a road ahead of them if they want to be trying to defend this one out.
eUnited right now, we'll see what they can do. Morta under pressure here early on, and oh my goodness, he's gonna fall. He will. He ate so much damage from Tonic. I don't know what he was doing there. This is big for 1-2-3. With the early pickoff, they're already going to put eUnited in check.
I mean, what can you say in this scenario? Because eUnited, they've lost so many players. Realistically, for Gibraltar, it's not the worst case in the world because you do spawn relatively close to this first checkpoint, but they don't even have to cap it to the first checkpoint. They only have to get it up to the top of this hill that you can see right now to have a chance of winning this. Just that golden box you can see just spinning over, and eUnited now getting back into the fight, ZP. They want to try and defend it.
Baltalia has to get on the point right now. The payload moving forward. It is already almost there. eUnited, no margin left to give. Sharik under pressure, not able to get away. Taken down by Tonic and his support from Zen, and now 1-2-3 on what could be their victory push right now. eUnited is in rough shape.
And all realistically 1-2-3 have to do here is just clean up the follow-up players, and there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. It will be map 4 going to 1-2-3 in probably one of the most dominating fashions I've seen in quite some time. Goodness me. 3-1 is the scoreline. I mean, that is rough. eUnited, off the back of it, you know, the first few maps, they were reasonably close. You could have said, you could have argued that they had a chance of winning there after Volskaya. I thought, yeah, eUnited, this is it. This is their time to win, but ultimately was not going to be enough. 1-2-3 coming out with a superior ult usage.
I think the thing that's frustrating here, if you're an eUnited fan, is that even on Gibraltar here, they were doing well in the beginning. They got early pickoffs, they were getting what they needed to do. And then they overdove trying to get more momentum. They let Tonic delay them. They let 1-2-3 disengage when they were half following, half not. Yeah. And in the end, 1-2-3 was able to hold on and get what was somewhat of a ridiculous first point hold. I
mean, it is off the back of, I think, the ultimate usage. I will be super curious to see what the analysts say about it, because the ultimate usage, I feel like for the entirety of eUnited there in that first push was really bad.
No doubt about it. Well, guys, to break that down and talk about how 1-2-3 is certainly on the rise, let's throw it to the desk.